And we are live. Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, go ahead and tell the folks about the people that sponsor this beautiful podcast.
Yeah, well, if you're joining us for the first time, good guess, you nailed it. The Wanna Parlay podcast is, in fact, brought to you by the good people of Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every week people are turning $2 into $2,000. You know, I've been repeating that promo a lot, Lance. You'll find out later. I got to replace the word week with every day. People are walking out of here with $2,000 every single day. We had a freak show start to the Wanna week here. We're not even 2 days into it, but people are already turning in winning parlays and racking up some big time prize money to start. So as we start every top of the show, pointing out the good people of Wanna, we got some special players to shout out here. The pick 7, who else but our boy DP, Mr. Dial Picks himself. Another 500. My man is now at 17 grand after that 500, people. 17 grand since he joined. He's been on for not even a month yet. He's the guy to watch. Pick 6, kind of boring. One guy won all 4 of the top spots, so not a lot to talk about. Oh, it was fucking Dial Picks again. It was Dial Picks again. Won all 4 of the pick 6. 900 more for the king. Okay? You writing all this down, Lance? Because we got some accounting to do at the end of this.
I don't.
Pick 5.
This is brutal, Jack. This guy's
Lance,
just winning
pick
so
5.
much money. You go. Keep going. My bad.
No, but pick 5. Are you getting tired of hearing his name yet? Dial Picks gets gold and silver and bronze again. 700 more. 700 more. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Worth mentioning here, by the way, a guy that showed up on the Pick 5 leaderboard as well. Long Legs wins $100 in 4th place here. Remember that name, Long Legs, as we get going here. Pick 4, Broccoli 11. My man cleans up in this space, wins 250. If you go click on Broccoli 11's profile, you're going to notice he loves to clean up the Pick 4s. If you're a Pick 4 player, that's a profile you're going to want to check out and see what he's after. Worth mentioning again, DP back on that leaderboard as well, wins himself another 100. Dial Picks just keeps rolling. Parlay Royale, Solemn War wins a grand last night. Monday night, just fucking around, the guy wins a grand, and that should be our top story. But Lance, if we go back and add up all of Dial Picks, it's $2,200 he won just fucking around on a Monday night.
This guy's he's Hall of Famer, Jack. I think we have to make the jacket.
We have to make the jacket. The guy's going to get a purple jacket. That takes him to 19 grand. He's going to go over 20 grand this week.
Oh my God. Like, just to think that this guy
is going to go past. I mean, that's 20 grand in a month, dude. If you stay on that pace, like, dude, quit all of your jobs. Yeah. You're rich.
It's a waste of time to work anywhere else. Just fucking make Wannas.
Every week I keep thinking, like, well, at some point this guy's got to cool off. Maybe we found him. This guy's just the fucking Bobby Fischer of gambling. He's just the guy. And fun fact, again, if you're joining us for the first time, if you're not a Wanna Parlay person, if you found us via the Instagram, one of the fun, cool features of Wanna Parlay, there are no secrets. Some guy doesn't just get to hide behind his wins and now report losses. Nobody gets to tell you now how they're getting gold while you try to figure it out on your own. You can go click on Dial Picks' profile and see every pick he's putting out every night. If you're like me and Lance and you're going through some tough times right now, go ahead and tail. There's no shame in a little tail.
This guy is ridiculous. I can't get over it. I mean, just to walk in here, it's not like he's been here since day one. He has not been here since day one. But my God, his first day feels like day one because this guy's just racking in like 20 grand. He's about to hit 20 grand. I wonder who's the next closest in Wanna's history because I don't think it's close. Well,
literally 2 weeks ago, it was close when Steel Curtain was balling and our boy Kevin Turner was balling. And there were a couple guys in that Wanna Mount Rushmore. But this guy has just ascended to a whole nother plateau. Like, this is Everest now.
This guy's like a Gretzky. He's a Gretzky type of athlete or a Gretzky type of gambler because he's just on a different level. And I just don't know anyone that could match this, Jack. I just don't see it.
We've had him on the show before. We're going to have him back on. Another guy. I told you to remember the name Long Legs. It's amongst my very favorite profile names out here. He just went off on the main event last night. Main event is a week-long contest. Winner wins $2 grand. Typically, Sunday determines who the winner is going to be. And I'm telling you what, people, Monday night wasn't even over, and this guy may have nabbed all the top prizes already. My man hit 3 separate parlays over 200 multipliers. 3 separate parlays after Monday night, over 200 multipliers. He's currently occupying first, second, third, fourth, and sixth place.
Oh my God.
There's a guy, my man flips 510, hit a 131.07 multiplier, which is a beyond respectable hit. It wins most weeks around here, and it's only good enough for fifth on a fucking Monday. This is, I mean, long legs. Go ahead and have yourself a night. By the way, those top 3 that all went over 200, all 9 legs. This guy went 27-0 on Monday Night Football. Are you fucking kidding me?
wait. This is crazy. I can't even wrap my head around that.
He had some duplicated picks. They didn't all go. It wasn't 27-0. I got to go do the actual accounting on it. But still, dude, 3 separate 9-leg parlays to hit in a night. Good God, dude. He's going to go home with, I mean, 4+ grand this week. He buys on long legs.
He's got to go to the lottery. He's got to go to the lottery.
That pretty much concludes the special player shout outs, but holy shit, we had to just take our moment and tip the cap there a little bit.
Oh, there's KG Little Joe's. Dowd Picks is going to be your boss soon.
No shit, he's going to be all of our bosses soon.
Oh, that's insane.
This is Jeff Bezos in 1999. Get fucking ready, KG. Quick reminder, by the way, VIP contest is open right now. It stays open until Christmas Day. Winners taking themselves and a friend to the NHL Winter Classic at Wrigley Field on New Year's Eve for a price of on the house. This is the 4th time Juana has offered the VIP contest, and we have literally said it every time because every time it's been true. This is far and away the coolest thing Juana Parlay or any competitor in the DFS space has ever offered. Once again, here's what you're playing for. Winner is getting travel, hotel, all expenses covered, en route to the Juana Suite at Wrigley Field to watch NHL Winter Classic on New Year's Eve. I don't know if you had a good or bad 2024, but regardless, this is a hell of a way to say goodbye to that fucking year and usher in what is going to be an unbelievable 2025. Look at Lantz and I now. Just a couple of guys sitting in lawn chairs. Look what 2025 is going to bring us. Important to mention, Hex Head is also sponsoring the event with prizes going all the way down to 11th place. So hard to win first place around here, but absolutely worth it to throw $2 in the ring, even if it just gets you a Hex Head, because that's not just winning everything. No such thing as small wins around here. But once again, people, Winter Classic, Wrigley Field, Chicago, Neighborhood Park, Bill Murray singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, pictures with Ernie Banks, getting drunk at Sluggers, and then Little Joe's after the game to meet Lance and I. Life's pretty good. Speaking of Little Joe's, by the way, quick little shout out before we get on with the show. I wanted to take a moment to get the buzz out there. Already got our KG popping off in the chat. They are opening a second Little Joe's. An establishment that has been open since 1946 is partnering with the University of Illinois Chicago baseball program. It's going to be an in-stadium situation, Lance, with premium seats and one of the best college parks in America. Far more friendly environment than any MLB offering. Reasonably priced drinks, celebrities throwing out first pitches and hanging out in the bar the whole game. Good times coming to Chicago, people. I don't know about you. I love me a ball game and I love me some KG. This is as good a hang as being offered.
I mean, Chicago seems like the place to be at the end of 2024. That's all I'm saying.
We should look into season tickets and seriously getting behind this baseball team, by the way. This is going to be some good juice out there.
I love it. I love that idea.
All right. Well, we got an exciting show. We're excited to break down this week of college football, the first round of the playoffs, our first run of bowl games here, and we're even going to talk a little FCS playoffs because we just can't help ourselves. But at first, you got to know who you're dealing with around here, so we got to do a little accountability time. A lot of good ideas, not a lot of money won last night. I go 2-2. What'd you end up going?
I only went game lines, so 1-1 on the game lines, but I did pitch a teaser idea that hit beautifully that I honestly did take with my back alley guy.
Teasers are for the psychopathic and the friggin'
Jack, the teaser.
I don't care for it.
the teaser was money, basically brought me money line for both favorites.
Right.
So I was like, that's pretty good. We knew there were better teams, but honestly, I'm just gonna hop into it. Obviously, I went Vikings -7. That was a win, easy. We predicted that one right. Bears were just not there. It's focus on next season. This isn't it. And then the Falcons. You were 100% right about this game. I mean, It was a shit off, and then the Raiders just came in and covered. My God, they almost won the game. They had a chance there. Desmond Ritter's trying to go down the field. So
barring a roughing call, dude, I think we do have a chance to win that game. All of a sudden, it got a little tight, and Desmond Ridder has to throw the ball. We still got a chance. We still got 2 throws at the end zone from the 25 going in. But what a ridiculous game to be putting money on. What a horrible time to be running a gambling podcast. Oh, my God. What a stupid, stupid thing to be a part of. But, yes, we take credit for the Vikings. You and me both saw that game for exactly what it was. Also did a good job of pointing out that the Bears basically after that weird 3-week run where they found every different way to lose a game, getting a kick block, losing it overtime. Also the Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary was the end of them. The Hail Mary had to
well, it was Hail Mary to block kick to loss in overtime to the Vikings in a disaster. And then last week they get boat raced by a 49ers team that's absolutely reeling. They had no chance. The one thing that I get wrong in that game is I like the over of 43.5. And I will say Vikings drop a touchdown. We get a couple of 4th downs and red zones that get stuffed. I mean, the game was trying hard to go over and it just refused to do it. But Caleb Williams, man, I just had this take, okay? And I'm going to stand by this until proven differently because I've just kind of said, I'm going to sell stock. I'm willing to buy it early again. I'm not going to lose a ton of money on this deal. I will, the second I see the flashes of old Caleb, I will back in, but I am unloading quite a bit of Caleb Williams stock right now.
Wow.
Tell me this, and I don't want to spend more than 30 seconds on it, Lance, but are we not seeing just is Zach Wilson not just a poor man's Caleb Williams? Is Caleb Williams just not a notch up from what we saw from Zach Wilson? I mean, same thing going on here.
I mean, I blame the coaching. I'm still not done with Caleb Williams. I mean, the guy right now cannot let go of the football. He doesn't see it. He's just not seeing it. There was multiple throws over the middle that he's just holding on and then does some little scramble that fails because he's not more athletic than the defensive line like he was at every other level of football he's played. So I think the coaching, I think the play calls, I think we need more run and play action and be able to bite on the play. But there's so much that there is to fix over there in Chicago. So I don't know what to think of Caleb Williams. I mean, Troy Aikman went 0-11 in his first season. I was listening to him talk about it on Monday Night Football. So there's still time, but you're not wrong to be selling stock. I mean, it's
100%.
There's nothing.
That's important. Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions his rookie year. So that's another important stat. So again, I'm willing to see flashes and immediately buy back stock and just take this little 2-week hit. Just as it plays itself out now. And I thought Zach Wilson dealt with the same problems. We've highlighted the offensive problems all year for Caleb Williams, where at no point are we running anything that he did in college, which was always under Lincoln Riley and was always air raid principles. That's what you're seeing with Jaden Daniels in Washington, is at least they're playing within a system that he understands. They can simplify the reads, not ask him to read the whole defense and then make wise decisions after. Just ask him to make kind of 1 to 2 player reads and go from there. A lot of stuff done pre-snap as well. I don't know that they've given Caleb the same opportunity to succeed that Jaden Daniels has, but I'm seeing all the same problems I saw with Zach Wilson of like, good God, can he not do it on schedule? It is very rare that it happens within the rhythm of an offense. And it is just not like the beauty of Patrick Mahomes and the great in-pocket scramblers that we've seen, which is why Caleb constantly got the Patrick Mahomes comp, is that they're so good on schedule though. Yeah. Then they add you that little deal. So if you can even get to 3rd down, they're still going to beat you with that play. I can't be doing that on 1st and 10. I need you to play within the offense. Now, let's give an offense he can play, but some troubling stuff last night. Some troubling stuff. I don't like it.
Jack, there was throws. He's just sitting there eating the football. And I'm like, Caleb, you got to let the football go. Like, throw a pick, man. Throw a fucking pick. Make a mistake. Just give some...
forcing the ball sometimes where he clearly didn't just never saw the guy. So he just does it. He's just he's looking at who's guarding who. He's not seeing the zone defense at all. Like he just no rhythm for it. And then a couple times, trying some balls that, he and only a handful of people could ever even try, just all world fastballs trying to fit windows and stuff like that. But I recognize it's an A-level throw, but he's sailing them. So if you're losing that pitch in the NFL, now all of a sudden I'm like, well, what is it you do bring to the table? You're not an elusive runner where we can go design run with you. You're not like it just They're all the problems that because I was a big Zach Wilson believer, more so than the next. I was the
Oh,
guy
really?
that got fooled on it. I was the guy that got fooled on his pro day. I don't know, man. Something to keep eyes on. We have a more NFL focused show on Thursday, so
Yeah.
we'll circle back on
The
that
one
deal.
thing I will say that's comparable in the like why I feel like Jaden Daniels and Caleb's the success is just so much different this year is Jaden Daniels is still more athletic than the defensive line. Like he's still the best athlete on the field, but like he was in college, like he was in high school. Caleb, it was, all those great things, high school, college, but now in the pros, he does not look faster than these D linemen. He gets hunted down. Like he's not. So that I don't know. We'll see.
And obviously, easy to say, well, he's had great weapons with the receivers. Also easy to say, well, he's had a dog shit O-line. So
yeah,
a bunch of factors will get fixed. We'll wait on year 2, but I'm telling you now, I am selling a little Caleb Williams stock. I'm getting out while the getting's good.
All right, we'll talk about that more Thursday, though.
Yeah, we want to get just straight into the college football postseason here.
Yep, we sure do, Jack. Lead us off. You're the lead man here.
So once again, we're going to first cover the shit bowls of the week because it's good football and they're championships for somebody. We're going to pay them their respect. And frankly, I'll tell you, since the Army-Navy stuff, I've really missed Tuesday, Wednesday night football. I've been in a content just lull, going back and replaying fucking Arrested Development and Modern Family episodes. It's not a good place over here on my TV. So point being, we're going to do the shit bowls. Then we're going to do a little FCS playoffs just to tag it. It's good football, people. I know you're not going to watch it on Saturday, but it's good football. And then we'll hit the Blue Bloods. We'll hit the playoffs, talk the first round matchups. What a fun couple games those are about to be. The lines don't suggest it. I think we're getting a bunch of good games. So we'll hit it. We got one game on tonight, Lance. We got Memphis versus West Virginia. I believe it's Memphis -6 right now versus West Virginia. A lot of this game screams for Memphis. They're coming off their best win of the season against Tulane, handling them more than the 34-24 final might suggest. They just had a 10-win season in the American, which would be the conference behind the Big 12, which is West Virginia's conference, if you're really ranking them all up. It's a big gap between 5 and 4. Obviously, the American is not the Big 12, but still, Conference 5 versus Conference 4. West Virginia limping in on a disappointing 6-6 year. Coach got fired, obviously. Interim coach will be coaching this game. Rich Rodriguez just recently hired, but that's that awkward thing where he's just kind of around. So this whole thing, Lance, screams Memphis. That's why the public is on it at a 77% clip. Here's why I'm a psycho, because I think this is West Virginia cover all day. I don't know about a West Virginia win. I may lay a little towards the money line. But West Virginia, Lance, retains all the meaningful players in the they would want not going to the portal. Everyone you'd want to bring back from this team is back and is not opting out. They're playing this game tonight. Part of that has been on the insistence of Rich Rod that this is going to be the first game towards the next regime, and this is going to be the thing that sets them up for an offseason and all the success. I dig the interim coach for West Virginia. I think he's got the boys rallied and excited to play tonight. I've loved every single one of his quotes about, they're just football quotes. And anyone who's been in any kind of sports locker room can just appreciate, getting up for one game if it's playing for each other and playing for the moment. Why are we going to throw this whole year away? Let's go have one more game for the boys. And if you go through the schedules, Lance, West Virginia has beaten Kansas, UCF, and Cincinnati. I think all those teams are right there with Memphis. Memphis's best win is against the Tulane team that was fucking struggling coming into that game, ended up getting their ass kicked by Army the next week. And then honestly, maybe Memphis's next best win is against North Texas, but they got beat by Navy and UTSA. So for them to be getting 6 points tonight, I don't know. Give me the Mountaineers. Let's go, baby. I love them.
Hey, I mean, I don't know very much about these two teams, I'll be honest. But I mean, when I look at these bowl games, big narrative I look for is who cares about the bowl game more? Because there are teams that get into these, bowl games and they don't, half the players aren't there. They don't really care. The coaching staff's a mess, and it's kind of worry about next season. This one, I'm like, who cares more? Is it a 6-6 West Virginia team? You did point out their wins against Kansas, UCF, and Cincinnati, but I feel like those three teams all had disappointing seasons if you were to look at in previous past. I mean, UCF was expected to be a lot better than they were. And that is it Jefferson? KJ Jefferson, is that the quarterback?
Yep.
Yeah. He wasn't.
Arkansas transfer.
Yeah, he wasn't as great as advertised. Kansas had that injury bug in the middle of the season, so they kind of went on a dip, but then came back, stormed back, and beat, those top, like, I think 4 straight ranked opponents. So West Virginia, I'm just a little confused. And I'm like, a 10-win Memphis team, and they want to get, keep going, keep winning. It's tough. I don't know where to go. My gut leans Memphis cover, but like I said, I don't know enough about these two teams, Jack. So you're the sole voice here when it comes to who to pick in betting. I'm just when I look at a game like this, those are the narratives I look at. So after throwing that at you, is it still West Virginia cover?
It's still West Virginia in my mind. I will say it's become interesting for me how big of a Power 4 conference homer I've become the second SMU got to be up in that field. Because I was the guy screaming for a little recognition, telling people how good Memphis and Tulane were and that we were playing a legit schedule and all that. And the second we've gotten out of it, I've turned my nose up so hard at the American Conference. And I comb this Memphis schedule and I just go, fucking, I don't care about these 10 wins. Like, your best win on here is Florida State. Okay.
Yeah.
You and everybody beat Florida State. So I don't know. And I will say I am rolling the dice and playing an absolute hunch on that West Virginia is going to be into this game. I've liked what the interim coaches had to say and the general vibe I've gotten. Just not a ton of people fleeing to the portal. No opt-outs. It feels like we're actually going to get West Virginia, not some bastardized version of them. So if we get real West Virginia versus real Memphis, I like West Virginia, honestly, straight up. And so if I'm getting 6 points, that I'm just not going to be caught being on the Memphis side tonight, even though I'm fading 77% of the public on that idea.
Hey, no, and you're right. Memphis they don't have a big win, and we're about to talk about Tulane a little later in the show, but Memphis beat Tulane, but I'm pretty sure it was right in the middle of Tulane's dumpster fire. So how much does that win mean? I don't think that much, right?
Right.
Okay,
that's where it gets interesting. I'm excited to get into the Tulane dumpster fire later. But
yeah. So I like the pick. I like West Virginia. Because I was sitting there, I'm trying to I don't know that much about these teams. I don't know that much. So I was trying to see, and no, you're 100% right. I like the West Virginia.
I will say this for you and for people listening. Every pick I did tonight, I put both into I'm betting straight up. I've already got them all loaded up into a let's win a freak amount of money parlay. And then I've also put them into a teaser. So if you're a little bit skittish on any of them, just take the teaser out. I'm telling you.
Don't be scared of a little tease.
I'm not going to be wrong by a lot. So that Lance is the only game tonight. We got a couple other shit bowls going on this week. This one is got shit bowl written all over.
Oh, you got a call. You cut out.
Yeah, I was cutting out.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. Western Kentucky +7 versus James Madison in the Boca Raton Bowl. This is way too many points for the Hilltoppers, in my opinion. James Madison has done a good job all year of beating the hell out of teams they are better than. But against comparable or better competition, they've looked worse than average. They got beat by 2+ scores to App State, a team that fired their coach. Georgia Southern late in the season, a team that was kind of falling apart. They got beat in the only 2 close games they played this year against Ball State and Marshall. So if we get an inspired effort here from Western Kentucky, I see trouble for James Madison. A couple other things to pay attention to. This is why it's a shit bowl, okay? This is where it gets weird, and you just got to make accurate guesses and do your best. It's a weird game. 21 players for Western Kentucky are already in the portal, including their starting quarterback. However, Western Kentucky is one of these portal hub schools where every year they switch out 30 players. They take a lot of D2 kids. They play well Western Kentucky. They send them up to upper levels. They move kids around quite a bit. So this isn't anything new. And so a lot of these guys are going to still be playing in the game, including that starting quarterback. People might speculate, okay, well, then you've got a fucking culture issue in the locker room. I think this is just nothing new for them, and I think they're going to be in good shape. And once again, you can rally around one last time with the boys kind of deal. Meanwhile, James Madison is going to be with their backup quarterback that has a sub 50% completion percentage. Not usually a good recipe for good ball. Maybe he balls out with the added practices he's gotten and prep for the bowl games, but I like me Western Kentucky with 7 points.
Hey, I mean, especially with the backup quarterback, because what's their guy's name? Alonzo Barnett the third?
Yeah, injured.
Okay, so injury. I didn't know if he had hopped in the portal or it was one of those, but it's just injury.
Injury, I believe.
Okay.
Now, granted, I'm not the biggest Dukes fan this year, so if there's a Dukes fan pulling his hair out right now that knows more than me, feel free to come on the show and tell me why we're wrong.
Yeah, but, I was gonna say, I was like, I don't really know that much about these teams, and honestly, this one, Jack, I'm blindly tailing you. This is your territory.
I probably caught a game and a half of James Madison this year, and even less from Western Kentucky. If I'm being honest, I know more about who these teams are culturally, about their coaching staffs, and all that sort of thing. So I think, given like circumstances, I'm decent at reading through the bullshit here and telling us what kind of game we're gonna get. But I'll be honest, yeah, like there are more educated opinions out there. But as I look at it, I think this is a lot of points for. I mean, just this stat alone, okay. Even if they're the better team going into it. A backup quarterback with a completion percentage, completion percentage sub 50, including this season alone, sub 50, is getting -7 in a bowl game.
Yeah,
it just feels like a tough spot to be on right there. Maybe another angle to look at this. We're kind of sticking to picking teams here and not focusing on over-unders. But if you want another good bet there, I love the under of that game too.
Hey, that I mean, the under definitely makes. I mean, the sub 50% completion percentage is pretty bad. That's not very good. So maybe he's a runner. Is he a runner or something? Or is he just not that great?
Yeah. There's some dual threat, but it's not enough runner where I'm going, oh shit.
Okay. Yeah. So I give me Western Kentucky. I like it.
I love it, Lance. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Come on.
So now I'm getting a little carried away with the dogs, but I gotta call them like I see it. I'm taking Cal +3 versus UNLV, Art of Sports LA Bowl. Cal, Lance, has gotten healthy since the season ended. They played their last game against SMU without their starting like kind of slot H-back, kind of third down back. That was great against Miami, if you remember them. And then starting quarterback as well. So they've officially gotten those guys back. Justin Wilcox, I think at times overrated, and I think at times the hell of a ball coach. Depends on the occasion, but when he's right, he's damn good, especially on defense. UNLV's head coach, Odom, is already at Purdue, so UNLV will be rocking the interim head man for this game. Sometimes it works, but Cal is also playing for a winning season here. 6-6 Cal, they're trying to go to 7 wins. That's an important deal when you're playing at Cal, UCLA, some of these schools that are grinding, trying to get it all back. You're trying to win recruits. You're trying to do these things and sell the program on we're getting better. This is a big game for Cal. And Lance, not that it means anything to this game, but this is eerily similar and reminds me of the UCLA Boise State game last year at the Art of Sports LA Bowl. Same bowl game. UCLA won that thing. Same exact matchup. You got a hot Mountain West team that lost in the Mountain West Championship playing against a middle of the pack. In this case, you got ACC, but it's Cal. It's all Pac-12 still, baby. And me likey Cal.
No, I love the Cal play here. I mean, this entire season, it's felt like Cal just wants it more. I mean, they're not big NIL. They don't have like the big money like any of these programs out here. And they fight like hell. They've been clawing their way through that ACC. They made the bowl game. And with UNLV, I mean, their season's a little weird to me. Like they had the quarterback leave after going 3-0, and then Boise State basically stole their thunder of being, the best team of the group of 5, the outside the 4 conferences. So with all that being said, I don't think UNLV, like this bowl game, Cal wants it more. I like Cal as well here. I'm tailing you.
Under spot, another one to think about in this game. Be interesting to see what that number is. I bet it's somewhere in the low 40s. So something to keep eyes on. If that game gets out to, I wouldn't start that game with it because bowl games are always funny.
And wait,
but if you get out to a hot start and you want live action, that game's going to get sleepy.
Yeah, no, I could. Those I never know the over-unders in bowl games because chaos can happen. It's
chaos happens. Guys do shit. All of a sudden they fake 2 punts. Guys go for 2 out of nowhere. Like you bring 3 trick plays with you. Like it's just a freak show. That's what makes them so much fun. Yeah. That's why you can't ignore the shit bowls. It's too good TV.
It's too good.
And no matter what, in every single one of these games, one coach is getting the fucking Gatorade bath. Somebody's holding up a trophy. Like, it's always fun.
Yeah.
Good for these guys, you know? Like, it's an easy thing to write off, but you also have a bunch of kids who are never going to play football again who get to wear it out one more time. It's a special thing to go watch. It's fun.
I have a question. So I remember last year, I thought it was the Gronk Bowl. Is it? Did he
get a bowl game again?
Yeah, I was like, did they change it to something a little more serious than just Gronk spraying whipped cream all over himself at halftime?
Noob's got a bowl this year. I don't know. I don't know if we're adding bowls or losing them. I honestly have no idea.
I mean, the fact that we still have bowl season with the playoff, I think it's a little ridiculous. But that's still another show. That's deeper when we're talking about the future of college football later on in our lives.
I was going to say, when we get at season's end, I've got a lot of plans on how to rebuild the bowl system that fit with our college football 2.0. Which we might need to just rerun that show.
Yeah, we might need to that might need its weekly show every week until ESPN picks it up. But yeah, no, Cal's the play. Cal's the play. I like Cal.
It takes me to our most fucked up game here in the Shit Bowl series. Ohio -3 versus Jacksonville State. Both head coaches have gone to other schools.
Wow.
Both head coaches overachieved this year. Ohio head man is headed to Charlotte. Hell of a situation. Best of luck to you. I wouldn't have gone there. I wish you would have called me.
I was about to say, I'm like, is that a better situation?
I wish he would have called me. And then Rich Rod to West Virginia leaving Jacksonville State. So here's me trying to make sense of it. And then let's get the fuck off this game because I don't know shit here, okay? I watched a little Ohio. I'm a big fan of the MAC this year. Ohio has a great rush defense. Jacksonville State, the little bit of them I saw this year, the whole thing was their dual threat quarterback. I think Ohio matches up pretty well in that. And if they do, I think it's a pretty good spot. I trust the line here. I'm going to take our first favorite of this run and go Ohio -3. If I could throw in one more bullshit reason for this to be good, the game is in Florida, but it's not in Jacksonville. So it's not quite a home game for Jacksonville State. It's that awkward thing where they're kind of around. They're not really participating in the big bowl thing. Mm-hmm. What do they give a shit about a Disney World? They do it every year. This is a really fun trip for the Ohio boys. I think they care about this game. I think they're having a blast in Florida. I'm in on Ohio here. Ohio -3.
Hey, I actually don't know one thing about these schools. So, give me Ohio -3. No, you're right. I mean, it's like if UCLA, like when UCLA was in that LA Bowl, if it was a different matchup, you know, they don't care to go to SoFi. You know, it's still in their backyard. Actually, that would be more of a home game, so not the same argument. Say they were in the Holiday Bowl or something, you know, it's like, exactly. You're in the same spot, just a little bit different of an area. And it's like, it's not that exciting, but for Ohio to go down to Florida, I mean, they're pumped. They love that.
There's nothing worse when you're in that football thing, because you get so little sleep. You're so busy. The schedules suck. You got these 5 a.m. lifts. You've got late meetings. You get so much of your own personal time. It blows when you stay at a hotel that's like 40 minutes away from where your home is. You're just sitting there just going, I just want to fucking sleep in my own bed. Why are we at this hotel now that I have a roommate that I sleep in the room with? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not a fun trip when it's that local. It's very fun when it's like, hell yeah, we're taking a holiday trip to Florida with the boys.
Yeah.
And we go to Disney World. How often does that happen?
Especially when you're in fucking god-awful Ohio. Like, I mean, you'd love to go to, so I love it. Ohio -3. I'm with you.
Ohio -3. I skipped past the Georgia Southern. Let's not spend too much time on this one either. Georgia Southern -6 for Sam Houston. Again, I'm taking a favorite here. Sam Houston overachieved this year. It was their first year out of the FCS, but their head man is gone, whereas Clay Helton for Georgia Southern is not. Multiple people in the portal, including a starting running back, 2 corners, and some D linemen. I would have seen this game as a pick'em before all that shit. Now I kind of want to trust the line. Clay Helton is yet to win a bowl game at Georgia Southern. He's 0-2. I expect this to be his first, and I'm thinking early Gatorade bath for him in the 4th quarter. I'm thinking Gatorade bath there with like 4 minutes to go. He's going to have to wear that cold for a little bit in New Orleans.
Hey, I love that reasoning, especially the Sam Houston overachieving and then they lose their head guy. I mean, that always hurts. That's just tough.
And then to lose 2 corners and some freaking D linemen, that's a hell of a spot. I mean, go to work.
Especially
with that.
on defense. I mean, those are the guys I mean, you got to
Let me
build
tell
the
you,
trust all year, and then they just, if it's you sub in different guys, it just changes a lot.
there's not a cornerback room in the world that has 4 good corners in it. They're few and far between. They're fucking unicorns. So if you lose 2 of your starters right now, I'm telling you, maybe one kid can get you by. The other kid ain't good. The other kid ain't good enough. So we're gonna have some issues. And you lose the pass rush with the D line. Me like Georgia Southern minus the 6. I think we win by a touchdown, possibly more. I think it's 2 scores, hence the early Gatorade bath.
Yeah, no, especially with the Helton 0-2 in bowl games, and he's staying. I mean, I think you lay the points, the better team.
Easiest bet of the whole thing, Lance. Florida minus 12.5 versus Tulane. On some books, I'm seeing this already moved to 13. It's Florida all day, dear God. So a little background for those who don't know it. The Tulane coach absolutely fucked this whole thing up. He was a shoe-in for the North Carolina job. Then he shits the bed very late when guys start freaking out. He starts losing the locker room. They get their ass kicked by Memphis. Then they get their ass kicked by Army in the American Conference Championship. Tulane's in bad shape. They got a bunch of guys in the portal. They got issues. That's just the end of it. Meanwhile, Florida is in the exact opposite situation. Florida, going towards the end of the year, after they get their shit kicked in by Texas, looks like Billy Napier is going to get fired. The athletic director hosts a press conference to say, we're doubling down on Billy Napier. Some people pointed to the relationship he's got with their freshman quarterback and all this stuff. Doesn't matter. Since then, Florida goes on to beat LSU by 11, Ole Miss by 7, Florida State by 20. And I get them versus this Tulane team falling apart. This is going to cover in the first half. I'm going to take first quarter, first half, full game, the whole thing. Florida's going to beat the absolute fuck out of Tulane.
Yeah, you're 100% right. This is Florida. They had a pretty good season, especially, after the double down. And, there's something to look forward to carry into next season. And, with that being said, I honestly think we should maybe dabble in an alternate spread of like Florida minus 20.5 or something. Because, why not? This seems like a game that they're just going to fucking throttle them, Jack. I don't think they're going to take too kindly. They just want to beat the shit out of them.
We pointed it out with a little bit for West Virginia, even more so for Florida. You double down, you get on this little winning streak. All of a sudden, you win this game and you boat race it and you do it loudly. Like, I think you head into this offseason feeling pretty good about next year if you're a Florida fan. So this is a big time spot for them. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a coming out party. I think they're going to enjoy kind of rubbing Tulane's face on this thing.
Yeah, and especially after the Tulane dumpster fire. I mean, just hearing how that goes down, that's brutal. Brutal for the program. Can't imagine what the athletic director's thinking over there. Like, my God, did you just fuck all this up? But like with that being said, Florida, easy. I think the alternate spread is actually the move of 20.5. I think that actually 100%. Could be a great play.
100%. We'll keep eyes on that and update the people.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That's it. Clean that off you.
Yeah, Jesus.
Stuff. All right.
Get that.
Now we're talking Blue Buds here, okay? Friday night, the first ever home hosted playoff game. Notre Dame hosting Indiana. Notre Dame -7.
James Morris just hopped in the chat. Love that. And I agree with you, but he just came in. You came in at the perfect time, man. He says, who do you like in the college football games this Saturday? And that's literally exactly where we are in this show, James. So
hell yeah.
Keep going, Jack. That's me.
Friday night, but yes. It starts Friday night, but yes. So, Lance, I'm taking Notre Dame, and I'm doing it for the following reason. I believe this Notre Dame team to basically be made in the same image as that Ohio State team, but be a little bit better. I would take Notre Dame over Ohio State on a neutral field all day long. So with that being said, we just watched this game happen a couple weeks ago. And when we get to that end of the second half, it was a clunky first half, and I'll talk about that in a second. But when you get to the end of that second half, the last 10 points for Indiana really don't mean shit. That game was handled by Ohio State the entire way. And now you get Notre Dame in a big-time spot. If Notre Dame plays well, I don't see any world they don't cover this number. And I have a hard time not seeing them play well. So with that being said, I do think there's a path for Indiana. I'm taking Notre Dame, but I just want to give them their due. I want to play devil's advocate for a second. This is the pressure in this game to me is on Notre Dame. It's not on Indiana. Everything from here on out for Indiana is gravy. Overachieved and then some. They extended Curt Cignetti. They got good things happening in the portal. They got a recruiting window. Indiana's arrived in the Big Ten a little bit in the Cignetti regime. Hats off to them. Exciting stuff. Everything from this point on for the rest of the 24 season is gravy. For Notre Dame, this is the first time Marcus Freeman's got them to the playoffs. Big time spot right here in the post Brian Kelly era. Okay. Then factor in all that, you're hosting the game too. You're 7-point favorites. You're playing against an Indiana team people didn't think deserved to be in the playoff. You fuck this game up. All of a sudden, you're going to join this list with Ryan Day and James Franklin going into next year of being like, is he the right guy for the spot? We're in this thing to win national championships. If we can't outcoach Kurt Cignetti in that game, who the fuck are we? So I think pressure is on Notre Dame in this game. And then let's go back to how Indiana can actually match up and do it on the field. Remember the first half of Ohio State. That score is 7-7. Indiana's got the ball on the 25. Quick 3 and out, fine. They're going to punt with like a minute 42 left. Perfect snap, punter drops the ball on his own 10-yard line. Ohio State gets it. They score 2 plays later. All of a sudden, you go into half 14-7. Ohio State gets the ball coming out of half. It's 21-7 just like that. Very, very different game than it was in a blink of an eye before that. So if you can bring that Indiana on defense and hang in there, okay, because Notre Dame has been spotty all year. There's been plenty of spots where they've been very sleepy on offense. You hang in there on defense, and you just have something. You just get that little bit of magic, be it a turnover in a short field, be it something. You just get that little bit of magic to be up. Notre Dame is not designed to win big-time games from behind. They don't have the passing game for it. Their passing game is set up by their running game. If they can't live in the running game and wear on you as a team that's up 3-7 the whole game, you go back and watch the A&M game, you go back and watch some of their big-time spots this year. That's how they do it. So it'll be interesting to see. Indiana in the first quarter can have a little blip. I might switch my side and go, I like this Indiana team that's up 7 right now. Because I bet you could still pop in, right, at plus money, get them at like plus 3.5. But to start the game, if we got to pick a side here, it's Notre Dame. And frankly, you're working really hard to try to take Indiana. It's Notre Dame and make life easy on you. I think there's a path, but it's Notre Dame.
Hey, that was well said. Let me real quick in the chat. James Morris was going in. He says, "Thank God, enough of that FCS and D2 football talk. Get to the Blue Bloods." And then he says, "Hoosiers all day, plus 7. Last time I checked, Indiana didn't lose to Northern Illinois at home. Indiana has the coaching advantage." And then says exactly, probably while you were talking, IU is playing with house money. Oh, when it came to expectations.
Yeah, it's all gravy. No expectations, no pressure. They could get beat by 39, and this is still what a year from Indiana. Cignetti's already won Coach of the Year. Everything James said is absolutely right. I just still think that, like, the Northern Illinois thing, they got them right. Their offense got right after that game, and they've pretty much cruised. But I still just think if you start up and you make them one-dimensional on offense, and you make Riley Leonard be the one to beat you and not, the two-dimensional offense that they usually play with, leaning on their run game, all of a sudden this game could get interesting. And I genuinely think Indiana's defense can hang in there. I just think there's no world going into it, hence the early bet, that Indiana's offense is able to clip off anything in the 20s. I think they're going to live in the teens, and all of a sudden Notre Dame's going to win this game by 10 plus.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are accused of having like rather weak schedules this year, so it's a little tough to compare. Notre Dame's defense is having a monster year statistically, but they haven't gone against one of those elite offenses that we've seen. I mean, USC was a big one that they played, best offense. I mean, Army, I guess, if you want to throw Army's hat in there, they had a great year, but that's not an elite offense.
Yeah,
that's
A&M at the top of the season in a weird one. They played at A&M, but it was Elko's first game. That quarterback's first game for A&M. It was all a little bit iffy.
So I mean, with that being said, Indiana's offense is elite. So my biggest concern about this game is really what the weather is at 8 p.m. in South Bend, Indiana, because if this is like a snowball or something that takes out the passing game and makes it really hard to move the ball that way, I think Indiana is not in a good spot. I think Notre Dame will dominate the trenches if it comes to something like that. But if there's some chance that, Indiana can kind of air it out and get first downs, chew down the clock and score and make, like you said, Notre Dame play from behind, they could be at a great spot to be sneaky, Jack. So This is a tough game for me. It feels like without overthinking, you'd go Notre Dame. But if you think Signetti and these guys can, put up some points and chew some clock, yeah, I mean, Indiana might have a way to sneak it.
It's two things. Is Notre Dame going to shoot themselves in the foot ever? If you turn the ball over inside your own 35 and give them a short field, they're not going to clip off multiple long drives. And then question 2 is, can Signetti turn a trick or two? Give yourself a couple just well-designed little tricky plays that free up and get yourself some shot plays. That little tight end leak, a little double pass, a little something. Because what the hell? It's all gravy anyway. I mean, which, by the way, also makes him dangerous.
Notre Dame's defense is disgusting, though. What's that cornerback's name? That's one of the best. That's the best in the country, or one of. That kid's a dog. That kid's just he's gross. They've got another couple kids in the defensive back group.
It's a game I'm stoked to see, Lance. But straight up, if you're going to put money down to start that game, it's Notre Dame -7. That's where the money's got to go.
I agree.
You're betting with your heart if you take Indiana, and you're not wrong to do so. I love you. That's how I like to gamble half the time. But in the name of logic and sense, Notre Dame -7, and frankly, that might be the easiest one on the board for me.
Wow.
That's how highly I think of these games.
Hey, that's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm hoping for some great games here. So anyway, this next one's interesting. I'm seeing an easy cover or a blowout, folks. SMU +8.5 at Penn State. We just talked about the heart bet from people going Indiana. I'm going heart bet right here. Let's go ponies, baby. Pony up. Okay.
Pony up.
The 3 things the average bettor would be concerned about with taking the ponies this week: the brand, SMU versus Penn State, advantage Penn State, holy shit. The stage, playoffs, Happy Valley, 110,000 in a whiteout going nuts. The weather, 15-mile-an-hour gusts, 30s the high all day, playing in the morning. But I got good news to the pony fans. They just faced all 3 of these things a week ago. They just did this playing Clemson. They shit their pants in the first quarter, and then when they figured their life out with 3:30 left in the first quarter, they beat Clemson on the road 24-13 in the final 49 minutes of that game. And they would have beat them in overtime. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, but it's a fact, okay? Woulda, coulda, shoulda, but it's a fact. So I think that moment for them to go get the noise, the stage, the weather in Clemson neutralizes all those things that should make you nervous, and we can just get back to the business of breaking these 2 teams down, playing their best football, because I think that's what we're going to get, is 2 teams playing their best football that day. The USC film, to me, is the best film to watch to understand what this is going to look like. I think Penn State, against any team that wants to come in and try to play physical with them, stands the advantage. I'd like Penn State versus Notre Dame, Penn State versus Ohio State right now, since Ohio State's center got hurt. I think I'd love to see that game again. Remember, a lot of 4th downs, a lot of things at the goal line there. Ohio State got hot for 2 possessions in a row, but short of that, and Ohio State's best offensive lineman since that game has gone down, would love to replay it, especially if it's in Happy Valley. But you look at the teams that has given Penn State any kind of trouble this year, it's teams that have relied on their perimeter game and their athleticism. USC had this team rolling down 17-3 at halftime. UCLA hung on to this game all the way to halftime. Oregon obviously just put up 500 yards and we're scoring at will against them. Now, Penn State's offense looked pretty damn good against that, but in terms of Penn State's defense, that's what gives these guys trouble, is a little perimeter game, going with a little up tempo and getting out of this slugfest they want to play at the line of scrimmage. So that's how I feel in terms of the matchup. I will say I'm reminded of some Penn State Rose Bowl, Lance. I've watched them play Utah, it feels like 1,000 times, or whoever they line up against in the Rose Bowl, and they just lean on guys. Another game to look at for SMU this year, a game SMU won by 7 on the road against Louisville. There was a panic moment for a quarter and a half where they could not get off the field. Louisville had a very good offensive line, very good running back, was all ACC, Fred, whatever, of the year guy. And they were able to just lean on the ponies for a little bit. But you're talking about a pony defense that's 4th in the nation in rush defense. Okay. So if we can just hold up, if we can just survive at the point of attack and let our linebackers and safeties, the strength of our team, those 2 position groups far and away, run free, there's not a team in America that tackles as good in space as the ponies do right now. There's a lot of stuff to like about the matchup here. And then offensively, can SMU establish a perimeter game? Because that's how they're going to get the run game. In this weather, can we win on the perimeter? Our receivers versus their corners and safeties, get bodies on bodies and let the quick game and the quick screens to the outside be an offense. Because if they can get going and get first downs and get these guys running sideline to sideline, this is not a game that Penn State and the Big Ten likes to play a lot. And SMU goes fucking turbo. They go fast as shit. So interested plot line to keep an eye on there. But SMU was able to pull this off against Pitt, Louisville, and Clemson, who are all very much recruiting the same profile of kid. I just think SMU is going to be able to pull that off. Can they win now? Can they win? Beyond cover the 8.5, can they win? We got to look at Penn State's run game. Can we get the fuck off the field on a 3rd and 2? Does Kevin Jennings turn the ball over? I can survive and pick way down the field. Can't survive any fumbles. Fumbled on the first drive against Clemson, quick 7-0. Fucking kiss of death right there. And then special teams. Something that's been goofy all season for SMU. They've got all league kickers and punters, but we've also snapped 2 kicks over the head. We've muffed 3 punts. We love to miss 30-yard kicks. Special teams has been a third of the game we've lost the entire year. But guess who else has? Penn State. Penn State's had kicks blocks. Penn State's had been bad in coverage. Penn State's had horrible turnover, special teams issues all year. So if SMU can win that third of the game, which they rarely do, Kevin Jennings doesn't fumble the football, and we can hold up against Penn State's run game, not only do we cover the 8.5, Lance, see me in Scottsdale, motherfucker, and bring it on Broncos. We're winning this game.
Oh man, wow. Hey, I love it. First I want to go in James Morris. He says SMU money line. James Franklin cusses out a fan and then gets fired because he's a massively overrated head coach. Jeez,
Sing me
James.
that song, baby.
Jeez,
Sing me that song.
Jeez. He doesn't like that James Franklin guy. No, but Jack, you're 100% right. I mean, going into the game, Happy Valley is just a brutal environment to win it. And yes, you are also right that game against Clemson is as good as any test that you could put your team up against to get prepared for Happy Valley. If SMU can take advantage of Drew Aller being average and actually keep possession of the football, like you were saying, on the perimeter, because that's where they're going to be most effective against Penn State. Definitely not in the line of scrimmage. I promise you that one. So if they can pick up first downs, and another point that you said, not make errors that are costly in the field position battle. Turnovers happen. They're part of the game, but you can't have it on your side of the field. Like those just eat you. Those will eat you for years to come. Those are brutal to get over.
If we're 3rd and 6 on our 45 going out and we take a shot play and throw a pick all day, no worries. We're being aggressive.
Part of the game. Yeah, exactly.
If we're 3rd and 6 on our own 15 and we're trying to buy time for a guy to come open and we fumble the ball, I will pull my hair out and jump out my window.
Yeah, because things like that, that's how you they learned against Clemson. These are things they learned against Clemson. Hey guys, this is a quick way to lose football games. Turn over the football on our side of the field.
Now, that is the plot line to follow because Penn State's pass rush is legit. Now, I think that'll be another interesting plot line is to see who's getting home. Their advantage, their defense.
Oh, Abdul Carter is a fucking monster, Jack.
But advantage us, our pass rush. Advantage them in the run game, but advantage our pass rush.
Okay.
We're going to be as athletic as a front outside of Oregon that they've seen all year, and I think we're going to be able to get home. Hey,
that would be huge. And then the last but not least, because I've seen it twice now in person. I was at USC Penn State. I was at Oregon Penn State. Do not let Aller be a hero on 3rd and 4th down at the end of these games. He's not that good. Maybe I'm being a hater, but he's just not that good. And I've seen him make unbelievable plays on 3rd and 4th down when it matters a lot in those games. So if you can avoid like the 4th and 12, it's the end of the game and he's throwing the backside slant with everything he has in him. If you can avoid plays like that, I think you guys have a real chance. I think 8.5's a lot here.
8.5's a lot. Now I will say there is a world where if that first quarter looks like it did against Clemson, we're not beating that by coming back.
Because they're set up great. If what's his name, Singleton, that running back.
Yeah.
I mean, if they had play with a 14-point lead, they play well.
Yeah, I just think we're going to play well in the first quarter, and I think the first quarter is going to tell you everything to do with this game.
Especially after
Good
Clemson.
game plan. Yeah, I think Rhett Lashley's going to have a good game plan. I think we get off to the hot start, and I think that the jitters. I think a lot like Indiana too. This is gravy. A little bit different. You want to avenge the loss. You want to feel like we're going out winners. We lose that Clemson game. I think it feels a little different. But this is a lot of gravy going on here. Like to lose is not the same penalty as is to win for us. To win is unbelievable. To lose isn't that big of a deal. Flip side, Penn State, to win, you were expected to. This is your path. You've been complaining about the expanded playoff for 12 years now. You got your shot. James Franklin, who are you? Big time game. You lose this game. Oh boy. Do not want to be in the press room at Happy Valley asking James Franklin questions. My man is going to be irate.
No. Oh, I can tell you're excited about this game, Jack. I can just see it when you're talking about. I mean, you talked about the other games beautifully. Don't get me wrong, but this game, you can just tell it means something more to you.
Oh, it's personal. And I'll say this, Lance. The last one I was in Charlotte for 8 p.m. kickoff, nightmare. This one I'm in LA for 9 a.m. local kickoff. I just get to roll out of bed and let this thing hit.
Oh, man. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the Ponies. I'm excited for all of college football fans. God damn it. I know the conference championships kind of messed up the vibe, but man, this is going to be great. This is going to be great.
Let me take you to the early afternoon game here. Clemson plus 12. Let's keep the ACC team rolling. 12 plus 12 at Texas. Lance, you planted something in my head I just can't unhear. I did not know that Cade Klubnik was replaying his high school championship in Austin versus Quinn Ewers. That these two faced off as high school seniors, a couple 5-star recruits. From Austin, Texas, Cade Klubnik took down Quinn Ewers. And you know what? As I'm sitting here evaluating, I had a great argument with a couple buddies the other night at a bar, just going back and forth of, okay, let's agree these are the top 5 quarterbacks in college football. How do you stack them up? I had a hard time not putting Quinn Ewers at the bottom of that list and Cade Klubnik up there near 2. I mean, I had Shador going 1. I threw Jackson Dart and Quinn Ewers coin flip, but I got Cade Klubnik as the better quarterback here. Yeah. So if I'm getting the better quarterback, I'm getting the plus 12. And I'm getting a Clemson team that finally felt like they put it all together against that SMU team. I don't know. I kind of like Clemson to hang around in this game. Let me add a couple more reasons to get excited about this. Clemson's defensive front, if you watch them against SMU, fucking strong and athletic. This is the element that gave Georgia a chance against Texas both times. They controlled the line of scrimmage, and I think Clemson has a chance to be equally as effective. Maybe not Georgia-esque, but not get boat raced, which sets up all of Texas's offense. If they can be competitive down there, I think you got something. Something else to point out. Texas this year, 0-2 versus Georgia, obviously. But to be honest, if you really go comb back Texas's schedule, they haven't beaten anybody at least better than Clemson.
You're right.
Better than Clemson. Texas A&M would be the stretch. I call that a big time maybe. And by the way, Texas A&M covered this number against Texas, the 12. The next team would be Vanderbilt. They lost by 3. Michigan on the road and Florida at home were bullshit games. I'm working really hard to give you credit there. It was Michigan when they didn't know who their quarterback was early in the season, and Florida in the middle of their disaster when they thought Billy Napier was getting fired. So don't be fooled by the big bad SEC, Lance. Remember, this is the Texas team that got beat by Washington in the playoff last year. Okay, it's the same guys. I know they just went to the SEC championship and we've been calling them best team in football year, but it's the same fucking team.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, Texas has
lost Xavier Worthy and A.D. Mitchell, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, Texas has clearly shown they are beatable this year after those both losses to Georgia. And like you were saying, Clemson turned on the Jets at the right time, end of the season. I mean, you learned when you were at the SMU Clemson game, they looked good in that game, and I believe both teams can match each other physically, like on the line of scrimmage. I don't think there's an advantage. It may be advantage Texas, but I don't think it's big enough that it's going to affect this game. So, and like we were saying, it's going to come down to the coaching and the quarterback. And the advantage to the quarterback is Klubnik. Mm-hmm. I think we both agree it's not as close as people would say it is. Klubnik is better than Ewers. Klubnik is a better quarterback than Ewers.
Let me give you a coach to keep eyes on. Garrett Riley, little brother of Lincoln Riley, is the offensive coordinator for Clemson.
Okay.
Big fucking game for this guy. Because Clemson's defense has gotten right. They've gotten right. And Clemson offensively hit big plays against SMU, but second quarter on did not sustain a whole lot of long drives. They struggled to get the run game going quite a bit. They have got to be better schematically. If they just want to line up and play against Texas's defense, they're worse. You got to give them something that gives Cade Klubnik answers and lets him be a chance to elevate the offense. That's the only way here. So big pressure going on Garrett Riley. Dabo Swinney's just going to get these guys up, and he's going to be great at it. Clemson's going to be coming in high energy. It's just a matter of, can we succeed? Clemson offense versus Texas defense. Another fun fact that we learned in that Texas or the Clemson SMU game, Lance, Clemson's kicker can make a 56-yarder for the game.
True.
So
that's something to definitely keep in mind.
That's a big deal. If we're struggling to put a bunch of first downs together, we got to make it to the 40 to feel like we can kick this bitch. That's 57 yards. 40-yard line is my spot to start getting points if I'm a Clemson fan. I don't know. 12's a lot. 12
is a lot. Hey, James Morris in the chat. Ewers is just horrendous. He's not good. Clemson money line. Coaching and QB advantage Clemson.
James.
I'm just saying, yeah, like it's like we've seen it. We've seen Texas. We've seen the joke. Like their schedule wasn't that hard. They got beat at home by Georgia. Georgia showed up on their doorstep, knocked, and then just opened the door. Didn't even wait for them to answer. Just beat the hell out of them. Then they lose in the SEC. I mean, I know that one was a closer game, but it's like they always say, it's really hard to beat a team twice. Georgia beat them twice. I don't know, guys. Is Georgia that good? I mean, is Texas that good? Sorry, misspoke. But I mean, Clemson points, and I'm trying to see why I'm not going Clemson money line.
I would have some fun with it.
Why? Because this is going to be way closer than a 2-possession game.
I think so too.
Yeah,
we're going to know early. I wish as an SMU fan, I got to see this game before Penn State.
Really?
Because if Clemson goes and takes it to Texas, I'm walking into the Penn State going, the ACC is fucking good. Fuck everybody. We're about to beat the fuck out of these guys.
Oh, God, that's awesome. Dude, this is another game. I'm just saying, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see it.
And then probably our best matchup on paper here, Tennessee +7 at Ohio State. Great game.
Sneaky big number. Sneaky big.
One that makes me want to trust Vegas, if I'm being honest, Lance. You got a 10-2 Tennessee SEC team coming against 10-2 Big Ten Ohio State. This is a big brand moment between these two. Pressure on Ohio State for sure.
Yeah.
Heat on Ohio State for sure.
100%. Like significantly more.
I'm tempted to trust Vegas, though, and go Ohio State cover on this bad boy. Now, I'll say this. I think it's an Ohio State cover or Tennessee win. So the question going into this game,
I agree,
you got to ask yourself personally is, are you a Big Ten or are you an SEC guy? Where do you fall on that line? If you're an SEC guy, you might want to think hard about taking Tennessee money line. Don't even fuck with the cover. If you're a Big Ten guy or you think the SEC is just a hair overrated, this is a hell of a time to get on Ohio State. As we know, Lance, I've always thought the SEC is criminally overrated. So here we go. Let me walk you through it. Ohio State, great defensive front, maybe the best in football in terms of just the front box right there. Can match, and then they can match up in the back end. So you're going to make life hard on Nico, as did Georgia and Arkansas, which are both road games as well. We've seen Nico struggle real hard twice this year. Those are the two games, and this feels like those two games, ugly brother right here for Nico Ayamayeva. Absolute must win for Ohio State, and absolute must win for an Ohio State offense. Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator, Ryan Day, former play caller, offensive-minded guy. A lot of guys who are getting ready to get paid and get big-time jobs in Ohio State offense have been dog shit this year. I don't know, man. I truly believe Ohio State's defense is going to fuck up Tennessee's offense's worlds. I think that's going to be the case. So I'm tempted to trust Vegas here. I expect Ohio State to go up 2 scores in the fourth, go up like 10 in the fourth, and then get a big fourth down stop to cover this number.
Yeah.
Tennessee driving down 10, down 8, down 9 with 2.5 minutes to go. Fourth and 10 from the 23 going in. Fourth down stop. Ohio State wins.
No, I mean, you're right. You're right. I mean, this should be a great game. This should be
a great game.
This should be a great game. Tennessee also has a pretty physical D-line, like a damn good one. So
it's interesting.
I'm trying to look at the alley to where Tennessee wins, and I'm like, if you could stop and slow down Ohio State's run game, Judkins and that other kid, and force Will Howard to have to, make reads and use his arm.
Here's the game. Here's the game to think about if you're thinking Tennessee. If something in your bones is going, it feels like Tennessee. Tennessee, Alabama. A team that with a star wideouts, but really had a struggling passing game, kind of mind-numbing, to be honest with you. Just a quarterback that couldn't sort through it, an offensive scheme, whatever the problem was. An offense that wasn't – it was underachieving, let's say. Jalen Milroe's Alabama offense and Will Howard's Ohio State offense, both underachieving. So if you want to look to one game, Alabama's not a bad comp here for Ohio State. And in said case, obviously, Tennessee goes on to win that game by 7. Now, that game was at Rocky Top.
Yeah.
That game was at Tennessee. This game's in the shoe. We're going to Ohio State here.
Yeah.
And a must win. Absolute must win for Ohio State.
Hey, I think I just
don't see the cover. I trust in the line.
I think the brain tells you Ohio State -7, and you shouldn't overthink it. But if you're just a heart guy, Jack, I wonder how profitable it'll be in this first round if you just take moneyline dogs.
So it's an interesting deal here. I was actually going to do the same thing and try to look at the first round playoffs altogether. Obviously, the lines are huge. We don't have a single one score line here. I mean, the 7s we've got on the number, right? But it's basically we're talking the end of 1 score to 2 score games here, all the way up to 12.5 with the some books offering at 13 now with the Clemson Texas deal going right now. I see it the other way. I think we're looking at both favorites in these 7-point games that everyone thinks are going to be the great matchups. I think home field takes over and those guys are able to lean and win late. And then I think the games that people think have a chance to be blowouts are going to turn around and be great games. I think SMU at Penn State, I think SMU is going to cover that game. I'm rooting my ass off for the win, and I can see it. But that game is a fourth quarter game. That's going to be a fourth quarter game there in Happy Valley. And I'm really hoping for the same thing in Austin. I think Clemson's going to be able to hang in there. I think Cade Klubnik, I think that's what we're getting.
I want Clemson to hang in there. I want Clemson to hang in there bad.
I think we're getting 2 great games Saturday morning. I think Friday night is the most boring of the games. I think Indiana is down 7+ at halftime and never get it back within that number. And I think the last game on Saturday is the one that everyone's hoping is going to be the great game. And Ohio State wins it in the 4th, and it's never, the game's over with 5 minutes to go kind of situation.
Yeah, it's especially in the Ohio State Tennessee matchup, because I'm trying to think of the way that Tennessee does win, but I just don't believe it. I believe Ohio State versus Oregon is the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. If you're a SEC homer, you're looking at 10-2 Tennessee, whose 2 losses are Georgia and then a shitty Arkansas loss. But they have the shitty Arkansas loss, and outside of that, it's just Georgia, right? Big time loss there. And it was a road game at Georgia, one that Georgia had to win, and one where Tennessee's quarterback Nico was a little banged up, where he was like a game time decision. Basically.
He came on, and it was right after a concussion, so you really know he wasn't doing anything.
So as you evaluate it, if you're an SEC guy, you should be back in Tennessee hard here. You should be thinking this line should have been the other way almost. You should be almost pissed that Ohio State didn't slip behind you and it's Tennessee not hosting this game. You should have no hesitation if you're an SEC fan in this game. And yet, I am not. So I've got no hesitation taking Ohio State -7.
Yeah, if you want to take a smarter bet and you're trying to be logical, Ohio State's the bet. You're right.
And then again, we're picking matchups here, but I don't hate the under that game.
Yeah, no, I don't hate that at all. Especially at Ohio State. Yeah, that I could see it being 20 to 10. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be cold. That's what I'm like. These games, they're not used to playing at home this late in December.
Are going north. All of them but Texas are going north. And by the way, December in Austin is not warm.
No.
December in Austin is not warm. Where the fuck are our Rose Bowls and Orange Bowls?
Oh my God. Is Oregon happy? They don't have to face any of this first round nonsense. They get Well, actually, they aren't happy. That's honestly a bad take because they got the hardest path. But that's another that'll be down in another show.
Yeah, I suppose.
You don't think Oregon has the hardest path? Well, I guess Tennessee or Ohio State technically would because they're the beginning of the path.
They're the beginning of it. Yeah, I'm saying I agree with you. You're sitting there looking at the teams that people are going to have to play next.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not stoked if I'm Notre Dame and I got to play Georgia next with a win. I'd rather be playing the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee.
Would you rather play Georgia or Oregon?
Georgia's sitting there waiting. I see. I flipped it. Then, yeah, okay. So who's the best team that's going to potentially come out of this? ASU is going to have to play Texas potentially. We're all going to see where this thing shakes out. Here's a crazy thought. I think Boise State would rather play Penn State than SMU. I think they match up better.
Really?
I think they match up better.
You don't think Penn State would just overwhelm them on the line of scrimmage?
They might, but Boise State's offensive line is as good as anybody's.
Okay.
And you get Ginty, and you can kind of play their game and maybe win it. I think SMU gives Boise State a fucking miles of problems.
Yeah. No, you're right. Especially with Penn State. I mean, they'd be both trying to play the same brand of football. And it's just Ash and Ginty can do it.
Boise State got beat at Oregon by a touchdown. Penn State got beat by Oregon by a touchdown, or by 3.
Yeah, Boise State lost by 3. So they played tough. They played
the
tough.
Only down
You're right.
I have right there.
You're right.
Yeah.
Hey, no, I like it. I mean, dude, these matchups are going to be good. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited.
And with that being said, Lance, I'm going to shift our FCS conversation to next show, to Thursday.
Okay. Wait. I think James, let us know. Do you want to hear the FCS playoffs? I know you were talking so kindly of them earlier in the show. I was going
to make them my weekend picks, my FCS guys.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Well, fuck. We went in there, Jack. We dove in there.
We got deep.
Ohio State. It's tough to bet on Will Howard, though. If you think of that aspect, Will Howard has been just wildly disappointing this year.
Will Howard and Chip Kelly have to deliver a masterclass. Absolutely have to.
They sure. I mean, it starts, but Tennessee's D-line. I mean, they have a guy that's, I think, first rounder.
No, Tennessee's front's legit. Not taking it from Tennessee. Yep.
So I'm like, if that's where it's like, Tennessee limited Bama's running ability and that's how they beat Bama. So it's like, I could see a world where Will Howard's just having a shit off and Nico just needs to make 1 or 2 big time throws to beat him.
Pick a side.
Ohio State. I'm on Ohio State. Yeah, let me.
So are we in agreement across the board here then on the big boys?
I think
on the Blue Bloods.
We are because
Notre Dame, SMU, Clemson, Ohio State.
Yeah, we're on the same page because I mean, hey, I believe we're making reasonable points. If someone in the chat out here wants to come in here and let us know that we're saying something wrong, I'm all for it. But right now, it seems like we're and maybe that means we're wrong because we're just agreeing with each other so easily. But my God, those look like the plays. Plays.
Everybody make sure you get on West Virginia tonight. We'll be back Thursday. We're going to talk plot lines going into the back end of the NFL season. We got 3 weeks left and some wild card races heating up. So we'll be talking a little NFL, and then we're going to hit a little FCS playoffs because fuck you, James. I like talking about shitty football. But a brief reminder, thank you all for hanging out. We'll be back same time Thursday. We were excited to do the college football rundown, excited to do what we got Thursday. This show is brought to you by Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day, as we pointed out at the top of the show, people are turning $2 into $2,000 and walking out the door with it. Pretty special deal going around here about Wanna. If you get a chance to go on the account, make yourself one, immediately go find Dialed Picks' account and copy everything he does. This is a man that fucked around on a Monday night last night, won $2,200. Okay? You do whatever he does. You ask questions later. Another guy to keep eyes on if you're looking up guys to tail a little bit, long legs. You find those long legs and you wrap yourself around them and you stay put. That guy hit 3 separate 200 multipliers in the main event last night. A contest that is supposed to last a week. I'm pretty sure we could end right now. Wave the white flag and just hand him his money. So congrats to Long Legs, Dial Picks. all the big time winners going on. Broccoli 11, you know who you are. Everybody, not so much Lance and I, our accountability hour is bad, but we got some good stuff going. We laid some stuff down. We got Memphis going tonight. We got Western Kentucky going tomorrow. We're excited.
Yeah. Wait, no, we're on West Virginia, right? West Virginia.
I just did that. Yeah. What a bad Freudian slip.
All good. All good. All good. West Virginia.
I'm glad I already placed the bet.
Hey, all good. Hey, thank you everyone for tuning in. Awesome show. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back Thursday. You guys are legends, and so are we. We salute you. It's been a pleasure.